The hidden threats. How invasive wildlife is challenging urban and agricultural life in Georgia and beyond. Across Georgia and other parts of the world, invasive or problematic wildlife species are creating serious challenges for both rural farmers and urban communities. From property destruction to ecological disruption, these animals can be more than just a nuisance. They can become a costly threat. Let's break down the specific challenges posed by 4 such species: baboons, bobcats, elephants, and wild boars, and examine what's being done to manage them. Invasive baboons in Georgia's growing agricultural crisis. Georgia's agricultural industry vital to the state's economy and rural livelihood is facing a surprising and deeply troubling challenge: invasive baboons. With an estimated $30 million in annual crop losses, the impact of these highly intelligent and aggressive primates is becoming impossible to ignore. Baboons aren't just ordinary pests. They're strategic, agile, and capable of devastating entire fields of maize, cassava, and fruits within hours. Their ability to adapt to diverse environments from savannas to farmland makes them especially hard to deter. And their omnivorous diet means no crop is truly safe. Although large-scale, baboon invasions like this are more commonly documented in parts of Africa, such as Uganda's Budongo Forest Reserve, where farmers have long battled crop loss due to baboons. Reports from rural Georgia suggest similar patterns are emerging. While official sources remain limited, eyewitness accounts from local farmers and conservationists point to a rapidly growing problem that deserves serious attention. Smart enemies. Smarter solutions? To combat the threat, Georgia's farmers are turning to unconventional but tactical defenses. Among the most notable innovations, shooting tents crafted from parachute fabric allow farmers to hide near crops while safely observing primate movement. Fruit baiting draws baboons into open areas where population control measures can be carried out with precision. Strategic firearm use, under local regulations, is being employed as a last resort to protect critical harvests. These strategies have shown success in reducing crop damage and deterring future incursions, but they come with a moral cost. Baboons are not only intelligent, they live in complex, social communities. Lethal control methods are increasingly criticized by animal welfare advocates who argue for more humane solutions. A path toward balance. So, what's the alternative? Non-lethal, sustainable approaches are gaining traction. Organizations like the African Wildlife Foundation champion strategies such as habitat preservation to reduce baboons' dependence on farmland, community education on waste management to prevent attracting wildlife, crop diversification and barriers to discourage raids without harming the animals. These initiatives don't just protect the environment, they also foster long-term coexistence between humans and wildlife. For Georgia, adopting similar models could mean a future where farming thrives without sacrificing animal welfare. Conclusion. From conflict to coexistence, the rise of invasive baboons in Georgia, while still underdocumented, signals a critical need for proactive, compassionate, and science-backed solutions. Farmers cannot afford continued losses, but neither can we ignore the ethical implications of lethal force. With smarter strategies, public awareness, and support from both government and conservation groups, Georgia has the opportunity to lead by example, turning a growing crisis into a chance for innovation and harmony. Urban invasion. The growing threat of baboons in Georgia's cities. In 2022 alone, an estimated 500 to 1,000 baboons were reported infiltrating urban neighborhoods across Georgia, turning once quiet streets into unpredictable danger zones. These primates, known for their intelligence and agility, are not just curious wanderers. They're becoming a serious public safety and health risk. And the problem is escalating fast. When wildlife crosses the line, baboons can navigate roads, climb buildings, and swing across power lines with alarming ease. The result? Over 80 traffic-related incidents and more than 40 human injuries annually. Imagine driving down a busy street only to have a troop of baboons dash across your path, obstructing visibility and causing collisions. These incidents lead to expensive vehicle repairs and place innocent lives at risk. But the threat doesn't end with accidents. Baboons are increasingly found rummaging through garbage bins, tearing open waste and scattering debris across urban zones. In doing so, they expose communities to a wide range of pathogens, bacteria, viruses, and parasites capable of causing serious zoonotic diseases. This isn't speculation. The danger of disease spillover from primates has been well documented. In global context, especially within wildlife trade and human-wildlife conflict zones, why is this happening? The root of the issue lies in habitat loss and urban expansion. As natural forests shrink and green spaces vanish, baboons are left with fewer food sources and nesting grounds. Cities become their new foraging zones, not by choice, but by survival. And as vegetation degrades, these intelligent animals follow their instincts toward wherever resources are abundant, even if that means trespassing into human territory. Solutions that work if we act now to stop the spread of this crisis. Proactive management is crucial. Some of the most promising strategies include reinforced waste management systems that keep garbage out of reach, public education campaigns to discourage feeding or interacting with baboons, community-based reporting systems to monitor baboon activity without escalating conflict. Looking abroad, Saudi Arabia's National Center for Wildlife is already taking action against a similar problem. Their approach? A combination of environmental reserves, controlled population management, and community engagement. This model offers a sustainable blueprint that Georgia can adapt and implement, not just to remove baboons from city streets, but to tackle the root causes that drive them there. The time to act is now. Urban baboon incursions are no longer a rare oddity. They are a growing public issue that demands serious attention. From damaged property and dangerous roads to public health risks and ethical concerns, the cost of inaction is simply too high. If Georgia wants to protect its citizens while preserving ecological balance, the path forward is clear: smarter infrastructure, stronger public awareness, and sustainable coexistence strategies. The future of both our cities and our wildlife depends on it. Bobcat Boom. Livestock losses and the battle for balance across the United States. The bobcat population has surged to an estimated 3 million and counting, a testament to the species' incredible adaptability. But this growing number comes with serious consequences. In Georgia and other agricultural states, bobcats are increasingly targeting livestock like chickens, sheep, and goats, contributing to an alarming $1 billion in annual economic losses nationwide. Though bobcats are native to North America, their presence on farms is no longer a rare sight. As natural food sources dwindle due to habitat degradation and ecosystem shifts, these elusive predators are forced to move closer to human settlements, turning family farms into hunting grounds. Strategic solutions from the field hunters and wildlife managers are stepping up with tactical, humane solutions to help contain the crisis. Two veterans in the field, Michael Thompson of Texas and John Mitchell of Montana, offer a glimpse into how responsible intervention can help protect both livestock and ecosystem integrity. Thompson, an expert trapper, uses coil spring foot traps along bobcat trails, dens, and known hunting routes, carefully baited with fresh meat or commercial scent lures and camouflaged with natural brush. These traps are engineered to hold bobcats securely without causing injury. Every trap is checked regularly, ensuring ethical handling and minimal stress to the animal. Meanwhile, Mitchell relies on field scouting, realistic prey calls like distressed rabbits, and visual lures to attract bobcats. Using a .223 rifle, he executes precise, humane shots aimed at vital organs, ensuring quick and ethical kills. His disciplined approach contributes to the annual removal of up to 500,000 bobcats, a vital effort in regions where overpopulation threatens both farms and native wildlife. Balancing action with ethics, while lethal control remains a key tool for some, ethical and legal safeguards are non-negotiable. Both Thompson and Mitchell operate strictly within the boundaries of local permits and wildlife laws, emphasizing humane treatment and ecological responsibility. Yet, the scale of these operations raises a critical question. Are we striking the right balance between protection and preservation? Bobcats are not just predators, they're a crucial part of the natural food web. Excessive population control could lead to unintended consequences, such as rodent overpopulation or loss of biodiversity. The case for non-lethal alternatives to achieve true harmony. Non-lethal strategies must be part of the equation. Secure fencing. Designed to keep bobcats out of enclosures, livestock guardian dogs, which deter predators through natural intimidation. Motion-sensitive lights or alarms that startle and redirect wildlife habitat restoration efforts. Ensuring bobcats have enough food and territory in the wild, these methods offer a more sustainable path forward, reducing conflict without risking the long-term survival of a native species. Conclusion: coexistence is possible if we plan for. If the rise in bobcat-related livestock losses is real and deeply felt by farmers across Georgia and beyond. But solving this challenge doesn't mean choosing between safety and compassion. With smart, science-driven strategies, it's possible to protect livelihoods while respecting the vital role bobcats play in our ecosystems. Because true wildlife management isn't just about control, it's about coexistence, responsibility, and a future where humans and nature can thrive side by side. Elephants in Georgia? A wild claim that doesn't add up. Recent claims suggesting that 10,000 wild elephants are roaming parts of Georgia and Idaho, allegedly causing $9 million in annual crop damage, are not just surprising, they're deeply implausible and unsupported by any credible evidence. Let's set the record straight. The reality check. Where elephants actually live, elephants are not native to the United States. There are no wild populations of African or Asian elephants anywhere in North America. Leading conservation groups such as the African Wildlife Foundation consistently report that elephant populations are limited to regions in Africa and parts of Asia where they face serious threats from habitat loss, poaching, and expanding human development. The idea of 10,000 wild elephants secretly inhabiting U.S. states like Georgia or Idaho is not only unsupported by science, but it also lacks any documentation from wildlife agencies, satellite monitoring systems, or local reports. An impossibility given the sheer size and visibility of these massive animals. Where did this claim come from? It's likely that this claim stems from misinformation, fictional content, or a documentary-style dramatization. Some have speculated that the narrative may be confusing elephants with other large invasive animals, such as wild boars, which are widespread in Georgia and known to cause extensive agricultural damage. But what if it were true? Let's entertain the scenario briefly for the sake of understanding its potential impact. If elephants were roaming the countryside, they would easily flatten entire crop fields of corn, wheat, and fruit in a single night. Their movement through towns or highways would cause catastrophic traffic hazards and put human lives at risk. Their sheer strength and intelligence would make them extraordinarily difficult to manage, particularly if they began forming large herds near populated areas. Management methods like firearm regulation and controlled hunts, as mentioned in some speculative reports, would raise serious ethical and legal red flags. Elephants are highly intelligent, emotionally complex, and socially bonded animals, and such lethal methods would almost certainly draw global outrage and violate multiple conservation treaties. How real elephant conflicts are handled in the right context in Africa and parts of Asia, where elephant-human conflict is a real and pressing issue, wildlife officials use humane and proven strategies, including electric fencing to deter elephants from entering farmlands, habitat restoration. To reduce forced migration, beehive fences, yes bees. A clever and natural deterrent, relocation and wildlife corridors, allowing elephants to move freely without crossing into human territory. These solutions aim to protect both farmers and elephants, preserving ecological balance while respecting the animal's intelligence and social structures. Conclusion: fact must trump fiction. While it might make for a dramatic story, the idea of elephants stampeding through Georgia's farms is just that, a story. Without credible data, local sightings, or scientific verification, such claims should be met with healthy skepticism. Instead of chasing myths, let's focus on the real and pressing challenges posed by invasive species like wild boars or human wildlife. Conflict in legitimate elephant habitats. Effective conservation and responsible journalism starts with the truth. Wild boars. A global agricultural menace threatening our food and safety. They may look like ordinary pigs at first glance, but wild boars are wreaking havoc on a global scale, turning fertile farmland into destruction zones and pushing the limits of human-wildlife conflict. Across the world, the damage is staggering. $20 billion USD in annual agricultural losses in the United States, 2 billion euros in Europe, $2 billion USD across Asia and Georgia. Farmers are feeling the impact firsthand. Key crops like carrots, potatoes, cabbage, cucumbers, and even rice are being trampled, uprooted, and devoured, reducing both yields and crop quality. For small farms and local economies, the toll is more than financial, it's personal. The invaders among us, these aren't just pigs. They're feral swine, a highly invasive species introduced to North America by Spanish settlers centuries ago. Today they've spread to 35 U.S. states, including Georgia, adapting quickly and breeding even faster, with 2 litters a year, each averaging 5 piglets. Their population grows exponentially, outpacing control efforts and overwhelming ecosystems, and their destruction doesn't stop in the fields. A danger on the roads. 2 each year. Over 100 traffic accidents in the U.S. are directly linked to wild boars. These animals often dart across roads at night, causing sudden collisions, vehicle damage, and serious injuries. Globally, the number of such incidents is in the thousands, creating a hidden public safety crisis most people never think about until it's too late. Fighting back. What's working and what's not. For 2 decades, wildlife managers and hunters have been fighting back. Night hunting using powerful headlights and rifles during the boars' nocturnal hours has helped reduce populations by up to 20% in the U.S. Cutting-edge tools like the Boarbuster trap, designed by researchers like Dr. John Gaskamp, are changing the game. These traps use live video monitoring and remote release gates to capture entire sounders, boar groups, efficiently and humanely. But here's the catch. Lethal methods alone aren't enough, and they raise serious ethical and ecological concerns. Relying heavily on poisons and rifles not only risks harming non-target species but can also desensitize us to the complex role these animals play in their environments. The smarter, sustainable path forward if we truly want to control wild boars and protect our ecosystems. We must think bigger than bullets. Non-lethal, sustainable solutions offer a more balanced and long-term approach. Reinforced fencing systems to keep boars out of critical crop zones, habitat restoration and management, reducing the incentives for boars to invade farmland community. Awareness and coordinated response networks, ensuring early detection and fast, ethical intervention. Conclusion: from destruction to prevention, wild boars may be one of the most destructive invasive species on the planet, but with the right mix of innovation, ethics, and community action, we can push back. This isn't just about saving crops, it's about protecting livelihoods, ensuring road safety, and preserving the balance between human progress and nature's power. The threat is real, but so is the solution. The time to act is now. Ethical and sustainable wildlife management. A call for smarter solutions. Managing invasive and native wildlife in Georgia and across the globe is no longer just a conservation issue. It's a moral, environmental, and community challenge. Whether it's baboons raiding crops, bobcats preying on livestock, or wild boars tearing through farmland, the question remains: how do we protect both people and nature without losing our humanity? The dilemma: lethal force versus long-term coexistence. Lethal strategies like controlled hunts, trapping, and population culling have been widely used, and in some cases, they deliver fast results. But when the targets are intelligent, social animals, like baboons or bobcats, we're forced to ask a difficult question: at what cost? These species play vital ecological roles, and their intelligence demands compassionate solutions, not just bullets. A better way. Non-lethal, proven strategies where not without options. Around the world, non-lethal, sustainable methods are already showing results. In Africa, the African Wildlife Foundation promotes community education, habitat restoration, and sustainable farming to reduce baboon conflict. In Saudi Arabia, the National Center for Wildlife has implemented environmental reserves and population monitoring instead of resorting to mass removal. In Georgia and the U.S. more broadly, farmers and scientists are turning to advanced tools like GIS mapping, smart fencing, and coordinated community alerts to manage wild boars and other species ethically and effectively. These approaches don't just solve short-term problems, they help build lasting coexistence between humans and wildlife. Debunking misinformation. Let's also be clear, not every dramatic claim deserves our attention. The idea that 10,000 elephants are causing millions in crop damage in Georgia is simply fiction, not fact. There's no credible evidence to support this, but it highlights a deeper issue: the importance of questioning what we hear and focusing our energy on real, verifiable threats. The future is in our hands. To truly protect our farms, families, and wildlife, we must combine technology, GPS tracking, GIS mapping, remote monitoring, community action, local engagement and education, policy, and science. Grounded decisions driven by research, not reaction. It's not about choosing between animals and people. It's about choosing smarter strategies that work for both. What do you think? Let's talk. Do you believe lethal control like trapping and hunting is necessary in today's world? Type 1 if you support lethal methods. Type 0 if you prefer non-lethal alternatives. Got a better idea? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This conversation matters, and your voice could shape the future of wildlife management.